You know, I didn't write anything, so I'm just going to speak from the heart. I grew up in Berkeley, although there was two forms of Berkeley. There was the campus with all the students and the rich people with the money. Then there was the people that lived down in the bottoms of Berkeley. We lived in apartment buildings. We fought roaches every day. I had 8 brothers, so I grew up with police kicking in the doors on a monthly basis, dysfunctionalism, you know. Everybody just about in the family had a different daddy, you know, and that was life for me. But I love my mom, and she's going on now, and I appreciate everything she did for me as a child, because she did her best. So I was always the person that carried the load in my family. When my brother Bobby got shot down on the streets of Berkeley, I'm the one made the arrangements. When my nephew OD'd in San Diego, I'm the one made the arrangements. I was always the person to carry the family. But then again, there was really no one ever there to carry me. You know, my mom did her best, but she had 8 kids. My sister had 5 kids by the time she was 17. So we all lived in one house together, making her having a total of 7 kids. So it was about 13 of us all in one house as I grew up. My poor brother Speedy, who was a few years older than me, he couldn't make it because he never really received love. So he's been in and out of the jail system since he was 8 years old. He's finished his last stretch now. He's 57. He just finished, he's finishing up 5 years on an attempted murder charge in Oregon. So here I go again. What's going to happen to him now that mom's gone? I guess it's left up to me to even find him a place to live. But so then here comes the alcohol, here comes the drugs, you know, the comfort zone, you know. Although I graduated from high school 6 months pregnant, like the majority of women came from where I, you know, grew up. And I was always living, you know, hand from welfare check to welfare check. See, because I found out when I was pregnant that they'd give you $500 when you had that baby. And I was like, $500? So, but I did. I always liked to dabble in school and do certain type of work. I did hair or whatever. But my problem was I liked dysfunctional relationships. You see, I didn't know I grew up in a dysfunctional relationship until I came to Miss Johnny's program. See, I thought that was normal fighting. I thought that was normal getting drunk, using drugs. I thought that was normal, waking up with a hangover, can't hardly make it the next day. You know, that was just normal for me. You know what I'm saying? My thing was, they disappointed me. I loaned such and such $20 and they didn't give it back. But I didn't find out until I got a Miss Johnny program that at that time my relapse prevention teacher, Mally, told me that nobody owed me nothing. I was shocked when I found that out.
All right.
Because I want you to understand, by that particular time, I'm 39 years old. I'm 39 years old. And I didn't even know what a credit score. I didn't know what a credit score was until it was messed up. See what I'm saying? And my life has just been, I've been trying to make it, but for us women, there is just so much turmoil. I know they say there's turmoil for men, but I really don't see it. As women, we have to go through so much in life, you know? We have to learn how to take care of ourselves at a young age, and we have kids, and I mean, what are we supposed to do, you know? I try to raise my granddaughter now to let her know that just because everybody around you got babies and no high school diploma and no husband, that ain't the way life is supposed to be. Right. You know, even me, I'm not living with a man in sin. I married him. I don't care what it's about. I'm not living with a man in sin.
All right.
It's all about trying to better yourself and better it for your future, your family. You know, it may not be your kids. You may not know your kids, but you best believe there's somebody else out there watching you, watching how you live, watching you use them drugs, watching you drink their alcohol. It may be the kid down the road. You might be saving that kid's life if you just think about other people besides yourself and selfishness. The only selfishness in this program is when you're trying to get clean and sober. Then you need to be selfish. Then you need to worry about what's going on in your life and how can you maintain it to a status quo. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, okay, so Miss Johnny already told you, I was in a program and my counselor got me this flyer for the paralegal program. And although Ann, to tell you, Ann was there, I came in there with nothing. Probation officer brought me there because I had stabbed my son's father because we had been fighting for 10 years. We've been busting my lip, busting my eyes so he can run off with all the money and all the drugs, you know. And here I am, I'm trying to maintain. So one particular night, I flipped. See what I'm saying? And so that particular night, I went to jail and I lost everything. And I was on the verge of going to prison. And that's when I started writing. I said, I'm kind of good at writing, so I started writing. At that time, Ron Jones and all the assembly people and all the mayors saying, I'm getting done unjustified. I'm just unjustified how I'm getting done. They had this article in the paper. 5% of the women in the domestic violence, you know, are being charged severely for domestic violence charges because we need to make an example out of them. And I was one of the 5%. So here I'm sitting there, I'm looking at 4 years in prison, okay, and lost everything. My kid is over here with one of my relatives, you know, everything is gone, my house, my clothes, everything that I had worked for, although I was on Section 8 like everybody else. I started writing, and that's when I found out I had a knack for writing. So my counselor in the program, Miss Johnny's program, you know, because I was brought there, and it's like, wow, where am I here, you know? I had my counselor put a beeper and a pager on one hip, but you want to let you know, it's all about humbleism, how to be humble in your situation. This Miss Johnny's program, yeah, so what is not up in the hills, so what is, but that program right there will let you know how to maintain. I am the best person on my job. I deal with all my boss's clients, and I'm able to maintain, deal with all the people in the community just because of her program. Okay. So after I got the flyer, and I went back to the paralegal program, like Miss Johnny said, I got my first AA and my paralegal certificate, and I went on to St. Mary's and got my BA and my second paralegal certificate. And then I graduated in February with my master's, and I've already did 1 year of law school, but I'm working on my PhD because I want to teach. And it's sort of a trip though, because I'm getting straight A's, you know? And so because I treat my PhD program like anything else, like my alcoholism, like my drug program, one day at a time. I do one day at a time. I do whatever you do for that week, next week, one day at a time. I don't let it all bombard me. Not only am I doing my PhD program, I've been working, thanks to Miss Johnny again, Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church in West Oakland. One of the members there got me a job, which I've been a paralegal in his office for 9 years. And then last year, God has blessed me. I rented my own little space, got my phones on, my computers on. I got my own paralegal office in North Oakland. I'm not there during the week. I have another paralegal that works there during the week for me while I work the other job. This stuff I like to do now, you know, because God has blessed me, you know. I have to remember that Jesus sits on the right hand of the Father every single day and intercede on my behalf, you know. I thought I was alone in all this. I thought I had to throw this up. You see what I'm saying? I thought I had to get them knives and them weapons in order for things to come my way, but I didn't have to do that. All I have to do, like Miss Johnny said, is just believe, stand still in the Lord. I know it may not come when I wanted to, but it's been coming. I'm not hungry, you know what I'm saying? I'm maintaining, you know. All right. Life is, of course, I always want more, but who knows? You know? Who knows? But I got my sanity, I got my sobriety, I got my grandkids, I got the love of my boys, you know. Neither one of my boys are in prison or in jail because they know, you know, mom has had it too hard. I'm doing my best. And so the only way I can teach them is I have to be the example first. go to school when I don't have no education? How can I tell my 12-year-old granddaughter, you need to go in school and learn how to type, because one day you might have to use that typing to make a living when I don't know how to type?
Yes, all right.
You know what I'm saying? I have to be the example for everybody else. So on my job as a paralegal, I also help boys in prison. Boys in prison who needs documents completed when their lawyers have deserted them and they have nobody to help them. You know what I'm saying? That's my job. That's my passion, is to help these young black men, because I already know they don't have a fair shake. You know, and so that's what I do basically on a day-to-day basis of my job, along with help my boss make millions, and I don't see none. But that's what I do every day, and it's a passion for me. I love the law. I love the law. I love my black people. You know, I love my community. I love to do whatever I can, you know, but like I said, I have to be able to help myself too in that process. And the only way I can do that, well, Pastor Hunter said one day, you got to live by the kingdom principle. You got to walk by the kingdom principle. You can't expect your life to go, of course it's not going to be perfect, but to go a certain way when you now walking in the footsteps of what Jesus would have wanted us to do. None of us are perfect. All of us are work in progress, but I just got to keep striving. I just got to keep going, you know. I have so many people that have worked hard to help me get where I am. And Ms. Johnny's one of them. Nobody told her to have been by probation officer drag me to her program in jail. She could have took somebody else, but she took me. She took me. And so what am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to just say, forget it and screw it and flop out and go back to where it's supposed to be? No, I'm not supposed to do that, because, you know, I buried my mother in this sobriety in the game. I buried my best friend who went down to nothing and died of cancer. You know what I'm saying? I buried my sister of lung cancer. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed because the Lord has kept me. He has kept me here. And he's kept me here to talk to you ladies that, okay, he might be fine. He might have a nice car on 24s. He might give you a little money. But where is that going to, how is that feeding your soul? How is that feeding your life? You have to look further than that. One day you're going to be this little old lady on a cane. How are you going to provide for yourself? Are we going to sit there and say, I never have no money? Nobody want to spend their whole life saying, I don't have no money. I can't pay my bills.
All right.
We just can't keep doing that the rest of our life. Somewhere down the road, we got to let that go. And we got to think about ourselves. And we got to think about what we want for our children and our future. So I guess that's all I have to say is congratulations to the graduates. I want you to remember that for me, you're not never too old. It's always a fresh start in life for you. And you can make it happen for yourself. Understand that Jesus died for you on the cross. He didn't already pay for your sins. You can't keep beating yourself up about what happened in life in the past or whatever. It's time to move forward. And you guys got that great chance. And I want to congratulate you and the future graduates. Let's just all hang in there, ladies. Let's hang in there together. Let's try to support each other. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what life is about. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Maxine. And there's so many other women who have come through that have the same success story, and so will you if you follow what you've learned.
Jesus.